This is The Fifth Estate, a conversation between young African scholars from the Fort Hall School of Government in Nairobi, Kenya, and Professor Mutahi Nguni. Once upon a time, a man called Abu Nwasi was selling his house, and he was selling it to a Kikuyu from Kiambu. Abu Nwasi gave the Kikuyu a 20% discount if the Kikuyu took the whole house, except a nail that Abu Nwasi had put in the sitting room. The nail would remain Abu Nwasi's property. The Kikuyu agreed and moved in with shiny furniture from Dubai. A few weeks later, Abu Nwasi came to use his nail in the sitting room. He went straight to the nail and hung the skin of a goat he had slaughtered. After all, the nail was his property anyway. The next day, Abu Nwasi came back, and he hung a bag of rotten fish on his nail as the Kikuyu was doing a housewarming with friends. And every day thereafter, he hung rotten matumbos and dead animals on his nail. The house got too smelly and unbearable that the Kikuyu had to abandon it for Abu Nwasi. And this is the story of Kikuyus and Ruto. When Ruto sold them the Hustler Nation, he put a nail in the house of Mumbi. Then slowly, he started hanging rotten things on the nail. And very soon, it will be unbearable to live in the house of Mumbi.
But what are the rotten things that Ruto is hanging on his nail in the house of Gama? And is it possible for Ruto to be this sneaky? Before we answer this puzzle, we must ask a few questions. How many Kalenjin ministers are in government? There are only 2 plus 1. There is Davis Chirchir and Kipchumba Murkomen. But do you know the third one? She actually exists, and here is her picture. And how many Luos are in cabinet? There are also 2 plus 1. The best finance minister we have had since Kibaki, John Mbadi, and James Wandai. But there is a third cabinet minister. She is the Honorable, the Attorney General, Dorcas Oduor. But here is the big question. How many Kikuyu ministers do we have in the Ruto government? There are 9. Yes. In a cabinet of 22 people, they occupy almost half the seats, plus the seat of president-in-waiting in the person of Kindiki. And there is more. They have 17 PSs, which is a third of the 51 PSs. And the head of the military is a Kikuyu. The head of police is a Kikuyu. The head of central bank is a Kikuyu. And the head of KRA is a Kikuyu. Yet, they want to form a government under a political Casanova called Gachagua. If this does not stink, what does?
Here are the rotten things that Ruto is hanging on his nail in the house of Mumbi, and why Kikuyus have to abandon this house and become Kenyans. Did you know that a Kikuyu lives 10 years longer than a Luo? Fact. Life expectancy for a Kikuyu is 68 years, while that of a Luo is 58 years. And did you know that out of every 3 Luo children who die before the age of 5, only 1 Kikuyu child dies? Did you also know that 75% of Kikuyus are connected to electricity, and only 40% of Luos and 30% of people from the coast and Rift Valley have electricity? This is a statistical fact. And did you know that 80% of the land in central Kenya has title deeds? They have used these titles to get loans from banks to develop their areas for years. And did you know that 80% of the land in the Coast Province has no title deeds? They cannot use their land to borrow and develop nothing. What is our point here? Kikuyus are a spoiled lot. You give them 9 ministers in government, they complain. You give them 17 PS positions, they hate you. And this greed is the rotten stuff that Ruto is hanging on the nail in the house of Mumbi. He is putting a mirror to them.
There are 2 things we need to add. 1, Uhuru Kenyatta was selfish with Kikuyus and Gema. He knew he was leaving office in 2022, but did not appoint someone to lead Kikuyus. He was selfish. He is like a rocking chair that keeps Kikuyus busy but takes them nowhere. And in this confusion amongst Kikuyus, a political Casanova called Gachagua took advantage. He is a matatu makanga who took over the driver's seat. Then the matatu lost control and went down a deep valley. When the passengers asked the makanga where they were going, he replied, "I do not know where we are going, but all I know is that we are going there very fast." Then they crashed. And this is what Gachagua is doing to Kikuyus. They do not know where they are going, but they are going there very fast. And they will crash. And here's the second thing. Ruto knows that the Kikuyus are a falling Mugumo tree. That is why he played the role of Abunuasi to Kikuyus. He sold them a house, but kept the nail on the wall in the house of Mombi. Ruto will hang stinking histories and statistics in the house of Mombi until Kikuyus abandon the house and become Kenyans. And this is how Ruto will win back the Kikuyus in 2027. He will use the stench of Kikuyu privilege.